Hello everybody, Snitch Racer here, and welcome to my new full season challenge series. For this, I will be doing a full season of the EA Sports game Nascar 98, documenting my entire journey in a commentary style series of videos. One of the main reasons that I did choose NASCAR 98 is it's the first NASCAR video game that I can remember playing as a small child. And so, before we get into the challenge and the rules itself, let me tell you about the game NASCAR 98. This wonderful game was released on September 24th, 1997 in North America for the PlayStation and the Sega Saturn. This simulates the 1998 NASCAR season and includes 24 official drivers and cars. Classic 90s NASCAR stars like Jeff Gordon, Dale Earnhardt, Mark Martin, Bill Elliott, Jeff Burton, Dale Jarrett, Terry Labonte, etc. In addition to all that, it also has 11 real-life tracks, 10 of which are NASCAR sanctioned tracks located all over America. This includes 8 ovals and 2 road courses, the 11th real-life track being the Suzuka Circuit in Japan. Suzuka Circuit famously had exhibition races in 1996 and 97 that were not a part of the official calendar, but the makers of this game did include that track as a nice bonus. Hey, side note by the way, NASCAR, please do something like this again. In addition to all of those real-life tracks, there are 6 fantasy tracks designed by the game makers. These tracks are all road courses, which not only makes things much more interesting, but it definitely provides a much bigger challenge. Originally, NASCAR 98 was advertised as a simulation-based racing game with physics that attempt to mimic real life, rather than being a arcade-like style like some of the other games that were coming out at the time. Now, since the game came out, of course, the physics have become quite outdated, but they're honestly pretty good for a game that came out over 25 years ago. The racing itself in this game is very fun and addicting. The AI will race you very hard and pass you in ways you never would have guessed, and they'll even crash into you and each other. All of this leading to some hair-raising moments that make this series very exciting, which is what makes this game so great for a season challenge video. From the main menu of this game, they do have 2 different modes of racing, single race and season mode. Of course, we will be doing the latter. And speaking of season mode, now to get into the rules of this challenge. First of all, I have the physics and AI set to simulation, which makes everything set to 100%. This includes the AI, which will also be set to 100%. Essentially, all this means is that everything between me and the AI are dead even. Neither of us have an advantage here. In addition to this, damage and breakdowns will be set to on, meaning I can straight up DNF. I will not be allowed to restart any qualifying sessions or races whatsoever. So, if I completely mess up my qualifying and I end up starting in 24th place, well, guess what? That's the reality. If I'm 80% into a race, hit the wall, and knock my wheel clean off, well, that's a DNF. I'm out of the race. Again, that is the reality. This not only creates some realism, but also creates a nice challenge. I won't be able to just dive bomb my car all willy-nilly all over the place without having any repercussions. Race length will also be at 25%, meaning it is 25% of the real-life length. Yellow flags also will be set to on for that extra realism. Alright, the challenge is set up and ready to go, but who do I choose to be? Mark Martin, that's who, arguably the best driver to never win the NASCAR Cup Series. With his 40 wins, he infamously placed 2nd place in the championship 4 times. Yes, that's right, 4 times, including 1998, the year this game is actually based on. So, my goal is to use that beautiful Valvoline Ford number 6 and bring Mark the championship that he never had. And now that we've got all the introduction stuff out of the way, I want to welcome you to the NASCAR 1998 Full Season Challenge. Alright, let's get into it with race weekend number 1 at Atlanta Motor Speedway. Take it away, Bob.
Hello, I'm Bob Jenkins for EA Sports, coming to you from Hampton, Georgia, home of the Atlanta Motor Speedway. Looking at the track layout, the 24-degree bank turns make this a very fast track for its distance. The drivers will no doubt be looking for passing opportunities on the long and ever-inviting back straightaway.
Man, that's so cool that they have that feature where the real-life commentator introduces each individual track. One thing you'll notice right away is, no, we're not going to Daytona for the Daytona 500 to open up this season. We're going to Atlanta, because it seems as though that EA Sports was unable to get the rights to Daytona, so it's simply not in this game. But that's alright, off to Atlanta we go. And as you can see in the background here, I am working on the setups to give myself a slight advantage over the competition. Now, the issue with this is within the first 3 races, the messing around with the setups gives me way too much of an advantage, because it seems like the AI does not touch the setups whatsoever, so anything I gain as far as speed is basically just a handicap in my favor. The reason I mention this is because after race 3, I'm making it a new rule that I am no longer allowed to touch the setups whatsoever. So for these first 3 races, you're just going to have to bear with me as I mess around with those setups. Side note, I just want to apologize for the fact that the bottom of the recording for the beginning of this video is cut off a bit. I did not notice until about halfway through the race, but that will no longer be an issue about halfway through this video and for the rest of the series. Alright, now on to the first qualifying session of the season. Man, the car felt really tight at this track, and as you can see, not only did I hit the wall on the exit of turn 2, I also hit it pretty hard on the exit of turn 4, but despite all that, I still end up in 3rd place somehow, which kind of foreshadows the massive advantage I start to get using these setups. Also, shout out to Ernie Irvan with the pole position to start the season. What a showing by him. Sharing the front row with him is Terry Labonte in 2nd place. 3rd will be Mark Martin, me. 4th, Bobby Labonte. 5th place, Dale Earnhardt, Jeff Gordon here in 6th. 7th place, Michael Waltrip, followed by Dale Jarrett. Rusty Wallace, then Kenny Wallace completes the top 10. Shout out to Kenny Wallace. Fuck you, Kenny Wallace. Alright, as we take the green flag here, you can already tell I have a bit of a speed advantage as I attempt a move right away going into turn 1. I am denied by the most aggressive block in the history of NASCAR, which just makes me a little irritated and determined to dive bomb the crap out of Terry going into turn 3 here, and here we go. Oh, but we make contact. I hit him in the rear, but I have a perfect opportunity to do the switchback and go back up the inside. Perfectly executed like a champion as I zoom right into first place. A new car is leading the pack. A new car is indeed leading the pack, and I actually managed to lead lap 1 of the race, so that was kind of neat. And doing my best of Max Verstappen impression, I take the lead and just simply pull away. As we cut to lap 7 here, going into lap 8, you can see I have built up a pretty nice gap here on 2nd place. Once I had free air and settled into a rhythm, I just kept building that gap. I'll let you guys see about one lap here of me driving in clean air. And alright, as we pull up to the very first lap car already here on lap 9, Ryan Newman, which by the way you will get used to seeing as a lap car. He seems to be extra mega slow at some of these ovals, getting lapped like 5-6 times in only 80 laps. Of course, that's just lap car number 1. As we cut to lap 11 here, I've caught the pack of lap cars lapping Warren Burton. Now approaching the number 7 car here, and you can see the challenge and issue with passing some of these slower lap cars, as I just don't know which way to go. I try going on the outside and I'm completely blocked, slowing me down a good 10-20 miles per hour. And the more these lap cars slow me down, the more opportunity second place, Jeff Gordon at this point, has to catch up to me. Because the lap cars will be very aggressive when trying to stay on the lead lap, including flat out blocking the leader here as I approach Kyle Busch. He is a nuisance throughout this series as a lap car. Kyle Petty, whatever, who cares?
What the f*** has Kyle Petty got to do with this?
And I almost hit the wall going into the middle of the corner, but I just brake in time as I zoom past the number 25 and put them a lap down too. Honestly, the biggest challenge next to the lap cars of this first race is the handling of the car and just getting used to the physics. Because all race, the car had a tendency to get very tight in the middle, but loose on exit, especially when the tires started to wear out. Which is honestly a positive thing for this race, because it keeps me on my toes and keeps the race interesting. Because I always have that thought in the back of my mind that at any given time I can just DNF myself and be out of the race entirely, even if I'm in first place. So not only do I have to be super careful around the lap cars that we're approaching here, I also can't go super fast the whole time. I have to establish a nice race pace that doesn't make me go into the wall or spin me out. And I have managed to get a nice race pace so far, which is the reason that I've built up that nice gap. Which is essential that I do build that gap, because the AI is quite good at passing the lap cars from what I can see. So I have to make sure I keep my speed up and get past these lap cars nice and fast so that Jeff Gordon in second place does not hunt me down. And as we get deeper and deeper into this race, that becomes an increasingly more difficult task. As tire wear becomes a factor, it does get more difficult to make sure that my car stays on track and in a straight line as we get a caution flag. A caution flag comes out, which instantly destroys that gap that I have built up on the second place car of Jeff Gordon in an instant, as second place will now line up right behind me for the green flag. Now, you might ask what caused this caution flag, and my best guess here is that it had something to do with Dale Jarrett and Terry Labonte maybe crashing, because neither of them ended up finishing the race, since, as you know, the AI does in fact crash into each other.
We're back to green.
And as we take the green flag here, you can see my vehicle's lack of acceleration as two lap cars push past us, and Jeff Gordon and Bobby Labonte both pass us for position. Jeff Gordon now in the lead. Bobby Labonte in second place, but I'm not giving up the lead that easy as I go for a mega pass, passing 4 cars in the span of about 3 seconds. I find myself right back into the lead before the end of the lap. And by the way, as I'm recording this commentary here, I'm starting to realize the person in second place that whole time was Terry Labonte. So yes, I actually believe he crashed out of second place, unfortunately, giving up that second place to Jeff Gordon now. And now as I hit fast forward here, you can see on the track map as I slowly build up that gap on Jeff Gordon. But let's have a quick look at the running order after 23 laps. Mark Martin, me in first place, of course. We got Jeff Gordon in second, about 3 seconds behind. Bobby Labonte not too far behind him in third. Kenny Wallace somehow has made it to fourth, followed by Ernie Irvin, Dale Earnhardt, Sterling Marlin, Hut Strickland, Bill Elliott, and Rusty Wallace rounding out the top 10, with John Andretti being the last lead lap car in 11th place. But as we skip to lap 25 here, as I am exiting turn 2, I get loose, sending myself towards the inside wall, but I am able to recover it before I hit anything causing damage. But what I have done is lose my gap to Jeff Gordon, as you see him in my rear view mirror quickly there. Suddenly, we're having to think about defending our lead. As the car gets a little bit loose again on corner exit, we're just trying to keep this thing straight now, as I'm absolutely feeling the pressure from the second place Jeff Gordon. Our tires are definitely starting to wear out here, as I do believe I pushed my car a little bit harder than the rest of the field, making it so my tires are wearing faster than them. Because as you can see, I am no longer able to build that gap to Jeff. He's able to just stick right on my ass, like grass. As we hit fast forward here for a few laps, you can see how Jeff Gordon just sticks right behind me, never letting off, keeping up that constant pressure from second place. As we enter the corner on lap 29, a lap car absolutely slows me down like crazy. I can't even get past him, and now Jeff finds a way past me. My poor decision making in regards to the lap car there has completely cost me my lead. So now, while dealing with the worn out tires, I have to try and manage to get a pace and catch up and pass Jeff Gordon. But as we approach the number 25 again, we ram into the back of him. That same lap car is still causing us trouble here, but we do manage to zoom right past him. As we enter the corner, we think about going up the inside of Jeff Gordon, and we do manage to do this, but can we make it stick on corner exit? Yes, we can, as we do find the grip perfect outside the exit of that corner. But the battle is not over yet, as Jeff Gordon starts to put the pressure on me going into the next corner. I'm gonna mute myself and let you guys listen to the sights and sounds of this game. As I jump back in here, it's Jeff Gordon's turn to have trouble with the laps car as he makes contact with Rusty Wallace, sending debris everywhere, giving me a chance to jump ahead in this lead. But the lap cars are not going to make it easy as I approach the Caterpillar car on the left side here. I find myself on the right side towards the wall, and I almost end up in the wall as the Caterpillar car almost takes me out, setting up another opportunity for Jeff Gordon to try and pass me, but I do manage to block him a little bit as we approach the entrance to the corner. We're going to have to attempt to pass that Caterpillar car once again, and it's not easy at all, but we do manage to do it perfectly timed while Jeff Gordon gets slightly slowed down by those lap cars, which relieves me of the pressure on the battle for that lead. After a little trouble from Jeff Gordon here, I am able to pull away and reestablish a little bit of a gap. Now, as we find ourselves about halfway through the race, I do have to start thinking about pit stops as I pull into the pits now. Going about granny speed here because I don't know if you can actually be punished. At least at the time I didn't know if you can be punished for speeding into the pit lane. Turns out you can't, but I didn't know that at the time, so I was trying to be extra careful as the pit crew works on our car in a second here. And as you can see, the pit stops are very simple in this game. You can either choose to change tires or not, or add fuel or not. So no 2 tire pit stops and no half fuel type pit stops. You could also see there that you can adjust the rear spoiler and the wedge, but I don't want to mess around with my car as I'm pretty satisfied with the way it feels. So why fix what's not broken, you know what I mean? As we go out onto track in 7th place, as most of the other leaders have not pitted yet. As I slide onto the racing surface, I almost take out a car on the way in, but we managed to get off without any contact there. But it's absolutely key for these next couple of laps while I have brand new tires that I keep my pace up, because I can build an insanely big gap if I do things right. And that's exactly what I do as you watch the position counter count back up to 1st place. And as we hit fast forward here, we now find ourselves on lap 46 as I take a look at the current running order. We got me in 1st place still, Jeff Gordon not too far behind at all in 2nd, Kenny Wallace still up all the way up there, he's in 3rd place, Bobby Labonte in 4th, we got Ernie Irvin in 5th place, Sterling Marlin in 6th, Dale in 7th, Bill Elliott in 8th, 9th, Hut Strickland, John Andretti in 10th, now a lap down. Apart from Kenny Wallace pulling off the greatest race in his life, not too much has changed here. The lead is about to change in a few seconds here as I approach that number 25 again, that same dreaded lap car, as he kind of goes down towards me, forcing me onto the apron. I lose about 30 miles per hour, and Jeff again goes zooming right past me, taking advantage of the lap cars as he seems to be able to do all the time. Now, I try to make my own attempt of using the lap cars to gain the lead here as I look to the outside, but Jeff actually pushes the 25 right in front of me, almost causing a massive accident there and protecting his lead. As I use a lap car to gain some draft and some speed, I dive bomb on the inside of Jeff, but clip the apron, losing all speed that I've gained. But now I'm in Jeff Gordon's draft, and I gain an amazing amount of speed going onto the straightaway. I just zoom right past Gordy Gordon out there. And I just keep zooming, and I actually managed to pull like a 5 or 6 second gap here temporarily until I get into the exit of this corner here. And again, I slip and slide onto the apron, but I managed to recover it a lot smoother than my previous mistake. But you can see Jeff again sneaking up into my mirror, pulling off an aggressive move around the outside, but can he make it stick? I'm just barely sticking my nose on the inside as we almost make contact. We both lose speed. Jeff in the wall as I zoom on the inside, making it temporarily 3 wide, and I go right back into the lead as Jeff also passes that lap car, sticking on my rear like glue. Jeff Gordon, like a bat out of hell, just trying to take over the lead here, but he's running out of steam, and actually this may be his last opportunity to make the pass, because we're about to get into a gap of lap cars here, and Jeff will have a lot more trouble keeping up with me without those lap cars. And that is precisely what happened as we fast forward up to lap 59. Here I have built up quite a nice gap. But we're about to approach the dreaded number 25 lap car, the lap car from my nightmares, as I get loose just getting near him. Even his mere presence is enough to make me crash. Well, almost crash at least, but just when I thought the race was over, there's Jeff again, sneaking his freaking elongated nose right in my face. Or rather, in my rear end. And here we go again, that stupid freaking number 25 car is going to block me one last time as I run right into the back of him. Jeff Gordon kind of giving me nowhere to go, forcing me into the back of him. I get very aggressive going into the corner as I am quite frustrated now with that number 25 car getting in my way, but I managed to clip the inside of the apron again. But no matter, I'll just use the draft to go up the inside and zoom into the entrance of the corner, but it's not enough as Jeff throws me onto the apron, the AI being absolutely aggressive as hell here, which overall does make this very fun as a challenge here for the season. I know I mentioned I was frustrated, but frustration just means I'm super immersed into the game. As we continue the battle here, because the AI is very good at making and trying to make passes and just being aggressive in general, as Jeff Gordon sticks his nose in there again, not letting up and not making things easy for me whatsoever. Because looking back at this footage, when I think about it, the thing that actually made this race interesting and worth playing is the fact that Jeff Gordon was constantly in my rear view mirror. Without him, this race wouldn't even be even remotely as fun. So I gotta thank you, Jeff, even though at the same time, you're kind of my rival now. And I zoomed way too fast into that corner and clipped the wall slightly, but thankfully I barely lose any speed. And then I continue that speed pretty much for the rest of the race as we find ourselves now on lap 80, crossing the line to lap 81 as we approach this gaggle of lap cars. Of course, the game's going to give us one last challenge. The lap car's bumping and banging for position. I'm just trying to be as safe as possible. I have such a big gap that I can take my sweet time going past these lap cars. And as you can see, I did. I just want to win, man. But these lap cars are putting me on the absolute edge of stress as I switch around the views for no reason here. Probably because of the fact that I'm a little bit freaking out about the fact I'm about to win the race here as we approach the white flag.
One more lap to go.
I'm going to stop talking and let you guys listen to this last lap. And just like that, Mark Martin wins the race, and so does me. Woo! I just want to thank God, I want to thank my mama, and I want to thank George Washington. What a fantastic race, though, in all seriousness. So, we see me winning first place, Jeff Gordon in second. Somehow Kenny Wallace managed to get third. Again, I have no idea how he managed that. He's not very fast in real life. Bobby Labonte in fourth place, fifth, Sterling Marlin, Dale in sixth, seventh, Bill Elliott, Hut Strickland in eighth, Ernie Irvin in ninth, and 10th being Rusty Wallace rounding out the top 10. And I'll let the other results just play themselves out here. You can read those if you want. And of course, you can see I am now in the lead of the championship. Probably likely to be a championship battle between me and Jeff Gordon. But man, what a crazy race overall. I may have been in the lead for like 99% of the race, but it was never a guarantee that I would win, thanks to Jeff Gordon and his constant challenging and the obstacles that we call lap cars in NASCAR. But that's pretty much it as far as this video goes. In the future, what I'm going to do is split each part of the series into 2 races each. I just did 1 race this time because of the long-winded intro that I had at the beginning there. But look forward to part 2 of the series, where I first go to Belmont, which you see me practicing here in the background, the first road course of the calendar, and then Texas right after, which, funnily enough, the real-life Texas NASCAR race is going on in the background as I'm recording and editing this video. But anyways, I hope everybody did enjoy this very first part of the series here, because there is much more action and all kinds of cool racing to look forward to, including part 3 when I'm no longer able to use those setups, making the challenge increase and the entertainment increase even more. But again, thank you so much, and please like and subscribe for more future videos, and remember to tune in next time when we fornicate in Fontana.